Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be looking at AI and all the crazy stuff that's happening in healthcare, conservation, and education with it.
Yeah, it's amazing to see it kind of move out of just like the sci-fi world and into our actual lives and making a difference.
So we're going to be looking at a bunch of research and news on this, but
Yeah.
one thing that really caught my eye was this AI Today segment I saw recently. And they were covering just all the latest breakthroughs, and it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, for sure. The pace of innovation in AI, it's just incredible. And, it's exciting to see how they're applying these advancements to real world problems.
Yeah, so let's get started with healthcare. And imagine a world where AI can analyze your x-rays or your MRIs with such incredible precision that it can spot diseases before you even have
Well,
symptoms.
it's already happened. They're using this thing called deep learning. And these AI algorithms, they're trained on just massive amounts of data, like medical images, and it lets them just pick out these subtle patterns and things that are off that humans might miss.
Wow.
And the potential for this is huge, especially for diseases like cancer, where if you can get it early, it makes a huge difference.
That's wild. It's almost like having another set of super well-trained eyes assisting the doctors.
Right?
But how do doctors feel about working with AI this way?
Yeah. There's definitely a learning curve, but a lot of doctors see it as a tool to make them better at their job.
Oh,
They're
wow.
not trying to replace doctors, they're trying to just enhance what they can already do, and so they can spend more time actually caring for the
So
patients.
it's more like a collaboration.
Exactly. It's like finding that sweet spot where you combine human expertise and AI's ability to just analyze so much data.
Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit and talk about how AI is helping to protect the planet. And I was reading about this system called EcoWatch, and it was like a global guardian for the environment.
Yeah, EcoWatch is a great example of how they're using AI for conservation. They're using satellites and drones and sensors to collect just tons and tons of data about the health of our planet.
So it's like having this constant stream of information about deforestation or wildlife populations or all that.
Yeah, exactly. And they analyze it with these really sophisticated algorithms. And so they can find these patterns and predict threats to the environment. And it helps people who are actually working on conservation to make better decisions.
That's incredible. It sounds like AI could be super important in helping to solve some of the environmental challenges we're facing. But how accessible is this technology? Is this something that could be used everywhere, or is it only available in certain places?
Well, that's a really important question. While AI has the potential to be used globally, there's always the challenge of, making sure everyone has access to the resources. So we have to make sure that this technology is available and affordable, even in developing countries.
Yeah, it can't just be something that helps out certain parts of the world.
Right. We have to close that digital divide and make sure everybody has equal access to AI if we want to use it ethically and make a difference.
Absolutely. Okay, so speaking of access, let's move on to our last stop on our little AI adventure, which is education. And this thing called EduAI really caught my eye. It's this AI system that aims to bring good education to underserved communities around the world.
Yeah, that's a big project that's using AI to create personalized learning experiences for everyone.
Oh, wow.
It adapts to each student's individual pace and learning style, and it can offer content in tons of languages.
Oh, cool.
And it can even help students learn from each other, even if they're not in the same place.
So it's like having a personal tutor for each student.
Exactly. It's like tailoring the lesson just for them.
Oh,
Yeah, and by getting rid of these geographical boundaries, it can connect students from all over the world and they can learn together. Imagine students in a small village in Africa learning with students in, Paris or Tokyo.
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, all through AI.
That's a really powerful vision.
Yeah.
But what about the cultural side of it all?
Yeah.
How do they make sure that the content is relevant and sensitive
Mm.
to different cultures?
Yeah, that's super important. And the people developing it are thinking a lot about that.
Okay.
They're trying to make sure that every part of it is sensitive to different cultures, whether it's the design or the language they're using.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're even partnering with educators from all over the world to make sure it's engaging and culturally appropriate.
It sounds like they're really thinking hard about making this inclusive, but how does this personalized approach actually work in practice?
So they're using all sorts of techniques, like adaptive learning.
Oh, okay.
So the system keeps track of how the student is doing, and then
Yeah.
it changes the difficulty and even the content to match.
So if they're struggling with something, it gives them more help.
Exactly. More support, more exercises, and if they're doing really well, it might even give them more challenging stuff.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so it's like having a tutor that can instantly adjust everything to the student's needs.
Oh, wow.
Another cool thing is it uses natural language processing, so the student can just talk to the system in their own words.
Oh,
They don't
yeah.
have to like memorize commands or anything like that.
So that makes it really easy to use, especially for kids who might not know all that technical stuff.
Right. The goal is to make it as easy and as fun as possible.
It's pretty amazing to think about how AI is like changing education, like opening up these opportunities for people no matter where they are or their background.
Yeah, totally agree. AI can make education available to everyone and like give everyone the chance to learn at their own pace. It's
Yeah.
really exciting.
Like a whole new way of thinking about education.
Yeah, a paradigm shift. And
Yeah.
it's not just education. It's like happening in so many different fields. Like we talked about healthcare and conservation.
Yeah. It's really cool to see AI being used to tackle like all these big problems that we face as like, humanity.
Yeah, it's like we have these new tools that can help us understand things in ways we never could before.
It is exciting. But
Yeah.
like with any new technology, there are always going to be challenges and risks.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We have to be really careful and responsible with how we develop and use AI.
Like I've heard people say that AI could make existing biases worse or even create new ones. How do we make sure AI systems are fair?
That's the big question, right? So AI systems learn from data,
Yeah.
and if the data is biased, then the AI might be biased too.
So like if the data is mainly from one type of person, the AI might make bad predictions for other types of people.
Exactly. So it's super important to make sure that the data used to train AI is really diverse and represents everyone.
Sounds like a lot of work to make sure AI is fair.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort and constant checking, but it's worth it if we want to use AI for good.
And what about jobs? People are worried that AI will take their jobs.
Right. A lot of people are thinking about that, and it's something we need to talk about.
Yeah.
Some jobs might be automated, but there will also be new jobs created because of AI.
So it's not as simple as like robots taking over everything.
No, it's more about people needing different skills, like creative thinking, problem solving, stuff like that.
So we need to adapt.
Exactly. We need to be open to change and see the opportunities that AI can bring.
Yeah. It's about working with AI, not against it.
Right. And it's not just about jobs. We need to think about how AI will affect society as a whole, like our economy, our communities, even our values.
That's a lot to think about.
Yeah, it's like we're in this huge technological revolution, and we need to be prepared for the changes it'll bring.
So how do we do that? How do we make sure AI is used responsibly?
Well, I think it starts with educating people and making sure they understand AI.
Like its potential and also its risks.
Exactly. The more people know about AI, the better they'll be able to make decisions about how it should be used.
So we need to be having these conversations like we are right now.
Yeah, we need to be talking about the ethical side of AI and thinking critically about how we want it to fit into our world.
It's a big responsibility.
It is, but it's also really exciting.
Yeah.
We have this chance to shape how this incredible technology develops.
It feels like we're at this like crossroads.
Yeah,
And the choices we make now will have a huge impact on the future.
absolutely. But I'm optimistic. I think if we talk to each other, work together, and always put ethics first, we can use AI to make a better world.
Yeah, it's really great to hear that people are thinking about all this stuff and like trying to make sure AI is used the right way.
Yeah, a lot of people are working on it, like researchers and developers and policymakers. They're creating like frameworks and guidelines to make sure AI is transparent and accountable and fair.
That's good. It sounds like people are really serious about this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's not just like academics or governments.
Well,
A lot of tech companies are also making sure that their AI is developed ethically.
that's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad that people are thinking about all these ethical implications.
Yeah, it's super important as AI becomes more common in our lives. We got to keep talking about, the good stuff, but also the risks and the challenges.
Yeah, and it can't just
Yeah.
be the experts and the politicians talking about it, right? Like everybody needs to be part of the conversation.
Exactly. We need to make sure everyone has a voice in how AI is developed.
Well, how can our listeners get involved?
Well, stay informed. There's so much information out there. Read articles, listen to podcasts, go to talks, follow people who are doing interesting work in AI.
Yeah, do your research.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask questions and share your thoughts.
Right.
Talk to your friends and family about AI, tell them what you're learning, and challenge their ideas. The more we talk about it, the better we'll understand it.
It's almost like we're all part of this like big experiment, figuring out how to use AI in the best way possible.
Yeah, we're all pioneers, and we have to make sure we use this technology to benefit everyone.
Well, I think we've covered a lot today, from how AI can be used in healthcare conservation and education to how important it is to think about ethics and make sure AI is developed responsibly.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation, and I hope our listeners feel like they can go out there and learn more about AI.
Me too. And remember, the future of AI is not set in stone. It's something we're all creating together. And if we stay curious, keep talking to each other, and put ethics first, we can make AI a force for good in the world.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the world of AI.